This week's show brought to you by Frank Shoup, Georgetown's big name in cars. Georgetown Advantage Air, now locally owned and operated by Gene Thompson. Welcome everyone to the Scott County Cardinals Boys Basketball Coaches Show, brought to you by the News Graphic with Coach Billy Hicks. We've got Cooper Robb as our guest this week, and we're going to talk with Cooper about the week that was and how his role may have changed. But Coach, two big wins, bounce-back wins, I guess we could say, the past two games.
And very convincingly, Kal, was good. And what I liked about both wins is that we grew, we got better. We got better, and I think we're getting closer and closer to where we need to be to make a run at this 11th region. And you know, we can't. You got to win the 11th region before you even think about winning the state tournament, because if you don't win the 11th region, you're not going to get a chance to win the state tournament. So, but I think we're really headed in the right direction. We're getting a little more production out of our better players, and we got to get Cooper and Michael in position to where they can use their talents, and I think now we're headed that direction, and both of them had two big games, and they continue to lead us in scoring and rebounding.
Talk a little bit about that, because you, after the Catholic game, you moved Glenn Covington to the point. How does that free things up for everybody else? How has the offense changed?
It gives, and you always can come. Cooper's played the point for 2 years. He can always step back in there and play it when it needed, and he had to at night when Glenn got tired. But what it is, you know, in the 11th region, the top teams are going to press you. LCA will press you. Dunbar is going to press. Lexington Catholic's going to press. You know, so what? And there's a lot more good teams too, but those teams you're going to have to beat to win it, and they all press. Well, in our press offense, we had our two leading scorers and two leading rebounders up the court. So, you know, we had to get them down the court. So when we beat the press, we'll have, or the only option that would be, Kal, was just beat the press and pull it back out up top, and then let's just run offense that slows us down, and then teams can press you all they want and not make them pay for it. So we're trying to get the maximum out of Cooper and Michael, because both of them are really good basketball players, and we got other good basketball players too, but they're our leading scorers and they're our leading rebounders, and we got to get them in position to maximize their talents.
Cooper, how has it worked out the past two games for you? It seems like you've gotten more opportunities down court the way Coach wanted you to.
Yeah, he told me I wanted to be in double figures and rebounding, and he wanted me to score about 20. So I've been just trying to do that, and he moved Michael down too. Michael had a 39-point game or something like that, so it's working out pretty good right now.
Yeah, I mean, that night against Lafayette, I think 39 points, 13 rebounds, 9 blocks, as dominant a game as you could
And
get.
to do that, Kal, to make that work, and that puts a lot of pressure on Glenn and Lorenzo and Cooper Watts, the other guys that are back up the court, who move back up the court, and they're getting better at that. They're getting better at it, and if they continue to do so, then Bryce, who's always been a really good offensive player, so now we've got Cooper, Bryce, and Michael up the floor. That's just three good players that there are in the state.
Cooper, Coach and I have talked about this, about how the football guys kind of blending you back in basketball-wise, and at times we've downplayed it because you're all young, you're all good athletes, so you know it's not like it should take forever. But was there a little bit of a slow process to kind of get back up to full speed?
Yeah, like me and Cooper and Glenn, we didn't think there'd be a big one, but it really was trying to get back into the tempo of the game, because there isn't a 15-second break in between each play. You just got to keep going and going. So we had to get into shape and get back into the feel of things.
People talk about football shape and basketball shape. How are they different? It's just, I mean, I would imagine basketball, you're just going nonstop, but it's...
Yeah, basketball, you're going nonstop, and you just don't get that break until you come out of the game. But I mean, you just got to get back into it.
It seems like, though, in the past week or two especially, we've seen Josh Davis really have some big nights for you guys. Glenn has kind of stepped it up. Cooper Watts seems to be getting back up. You know, he had to heal from that injury, too. Does it seem like you guys are really finally hitting your stride?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like you said, Josh came off the bench. He had a couple big games. He can shoot the ball really well from outside. And Cooper gives us that rebounding threat again. And Glenn's just doing what he does and helping us out on defense and all that.
the first game after the Lexington Catholic loss was against Lafayette. Obviously, as a football guy, was that a little extra special to put it on them in basketball?
Yeah, I like doing that. And then even our football players that don't play basketball, they came out and wanted to see us beat them pretty badly. So I enjoyed that, and I'm pretty sure everyone else did too.
You know, Cal, in the Lafayette game, there was a play there that all the young kids that are watching basketball, and the high school kids, and our team could have learned a great lesson from Cooper Robb. That was one of the toughest, most courageous things when he was defending Warthen, number 20, for for Lafayette. And Warthen and Cooper got tangled up a little bit, and Warthen pushed him and shoved Cooper that thing. Cooper just backed off. And it takes a lot more courage to do that than it is to try to get back in their face and retaliate. And Cooper did a great job on that. They got stuck with technical for that. And also that puts a personal foul on Warthen. So for the kids learning that and watching that was one of the most courageous plays I've seen. While Cooper didn't run his mouth, he didn't run his mouth, he didn't get up in the guy's face. You know, he showed a lot of courage. Because it takes a lot more courage to just stand back and take the technical foul than it does to try to retaliate.
Something I've noticed about this team, you got some big guys out there, obviously with Michael Marino and Cooper Watts. This guy here takes more of a beating than anyone, I think. Is that just a product of the style of his game, or what is it?
He plays he's great. Cooper's perfect for the system of play that I've developed over 40 years, where it's based on you scrap. We give you opportunity to do so. In our basketball system, if you want to look to make plays, you can look to make plays, and you're gonna take it to the hole. He takes it to the hole strong. I feel sorry for him. He was up 25 or 30 last night. He got killed on some of those layups. and like I told Cooper, I said, you're up 30, they're not gonna call it. I guess it's just it's just
they're not gonna feel sorry for you with that.
And then that first time, that was an intentional foul. 24 for Newport, just muddy, grabbed him, and Cooper still was able to put the ball in the basket. So that shows how strong he is. He's a very strong, very athletic guy, and a lot of it is that he just got those good fast twitch muscles, got good quick hands. I think over 40 years of coaching, I can tell the kids that play baseball and the kids that don't. The kids that play baseball growing up and everything, they develop really good hands.
Has that just always been the style of athlete that you've been in all sports? I mean, I've seen you in football and now I've seen you in basketball. It just seems like it's all out all the time. But is that always growing up been the way you were?
Yeah, I'm just trying to play every game as hard as I can, leave everything out on the floor.
And obviously playing 3 sports is something you don't see as much these days as maybe when Coach and I were growing up. Is that just something you always wanted to do? Is it just something that you liked being out there and being active? What is it?
Yeah, I like playing all of them, and it's just fun to do that, and I enjoy playing all of them, and I always wanted to do that throughout my life.
As a coach, I mean, you and I have talked. Sometimes it's hard when you transition football guys back into basketball because you start practice a month early. But you as a coach, I think you'll take that any day of the week to have those multi-sport athletes, won't you?
Well, I'd love to have him here around, but Cal, I say it joking because it's up to the player what the kid wants to do now. Cooper's a little more disciplined than most players. He practiced with us a lot during football season. So his transition was perhaps a little bit easier than Glenn and Cooper and Landon. Landon did up till he sprained his ankle. Landon had practiced a lot with us when he sprained his ankle, but Josh, Glenn, and Cooper, they were a little slower coming in. Now Cooper really was his adjustment has not been so hard. The hard part was he had a lot of fluid on one of his knees.
Yeah.
And is that going away yet?
Yeah, sure.
It's going away.
I was standing right in front of him on the play where it happened during football season, I'm pretty sure, out of Bryan Station. How do you do you have to manage players' time? It doesn't seem like you manage his time much because he's been out there most.
He hates to come out. He's like a pitcher, best pitchers I've ever seen. Didn't want to come have a ball game. He didn't play. Cooper's one of the tougher kids that we've had here. he reminds me. I've got 2 players over the years that he looks like. He reminds me a lot of A.W. Hamilton that played here years ago. It reminds me of a kid I had at Corbin named Tony Petrosky, and both of those guys were really big time basketball players. But the same kind of demeanor. They're quiet. Cooper don't say a whole lot, but you know, and that's good. That's good. But I like talking defense a little more on defense and stuff. But he's got that fire burning in his belly that'll carry him through life, through sports and everything. Those guys are. He's not gonna give up the first time he can't pay his bills, or the first time that he gets fired from a job or something. He's not gonna give up. He's gonna hang right in there and keep battling.
Yeah, you talk about relentless, and the tournament you guys are gonna face in Myrtle Beach is gonna be pretty relentless. Are you excited to go down there and see some of that competition?
Yeah, I went my freshman year, and I didn't play much. That was about when I was starting to play a little. And I mean, that was a big tournament, so I didn't do too well. But that's where I got started, and I'm kind of excited to go back.
It's one of those things, you guys kind of go there every second year? Or?
With our name and our reputation at Scott County, they love to have us down there. You know, the mayor that runs the tournament, John Rhodes, you know, he always says, Billy, when every time you're ready, just call me and we'll put you all in. Well, John called me last year and said, Billy, that's what I'm talking about. Billy said, I want you to the beach ball next year. And I said, God, John, I don't know if we're going to be ready next year. We're still going to be sophomores and a junior and stuff. We're going to be young. And he said, Dallas. And John has a great relationship with our former superintendent, Dallas Blankenship. Mm-hmm. Dallas was a great player at Marshall. And he and Danny Antonio, the coach at Marshall now, they grew up together in West Virginia. And they played at Marshall together and all that. And so that was our connection to get started with it. And then once people down there saw how we played, they really like us because, first of all, you don't get many county schools. It's not county. Garfinkel always kid us before he passed away this past year, but he was always down there every year. He said, well, it's Scott County versus God. because everybody was brother, father, sister, Catholic, Presbyterian, and all in church schools and us. and it'll be the same thing. Of course, if we can get past Myrtle Beach, well, regardless, win or lose Myrtle Beach, our second round will be either against Providence, Florida, another church school, or Evanston, Illinois. So another public school.
You're not going to beat God right after Christmas. That's just an unfair assignment.
That's what he'd always say. I said, what? He said, well, it's you against all these parochial church schools down here. All everybody is, because the New York schools are, you know, Brother Ryan or you know, all the different schools, St. Raymond's, you know, all those saints, there's a bunch of all those schools. You got Bishop McConnell out of D.C., they're there, and you got Bishop Gorman out of Las Vegas, they're there, and it's the #1 high school tournament in the country, and God, we're honored that they thinking of us to let us come play in it.
In addition to the basketball, you've been down there, Cooper, at least once. What do you get to do down there? I imagine there's some sightseeing. You get to have a little fun down there.
Yeah, I think we get 2 days off down there, just to have to ourselves. And one time last year, we went to a theme park, and we just kind of rode go-karts and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was fun. And it's fun just to have a day to ourselves and spend time with the team.
Get to interact with some players from other parts of the country, too. And
yeah.
That's,
See, we'll have a couple of days off, so and we try to, anytime we go to a place, we try to make sure they get to sightsee and see and learn as much about it as they can. Not a whole lot, you know, Myrtle Beach is relatively new, not a whole lot of history in Myrtle Beach. You can go 70 miles south to Charleston, and so I would love one day we had enough time to load them up and take them to Charleston to see the history down there and see that old city and everything, how that is. And may do it this time, but we'll be off a couple of days down there. We'll probably practice and have some time off, and it is, you know, it's a great vacation spot, and it is. We stay at a hotel right on the beach, so they get to enjoy that and everything. But it is a time where y'all get to spend time together. They get to grow together around each other. You know, and we want them just talking and they play video games. No card playing.
No gambling.
we had to stop that early because they didn't want to fight and argue with each other. Not this team. That
That's
was
what
years.
team chemistry, right?
Yeah, that was years and years ago. One guy won all the money, so we made him quit doing it and give the money back to him. I think he was cheating.
Sounds like fun. Wish I could go with them, but instead we will be back next week with an edition of this show with just Coach and me talking about the season at this point. But until then, we want to thank Coach Hicks and Cooper for being with us. We'll see you on the sideline.